Oh, the doorbell just rung! Yes! Really awkward angle, but I should probably explain what's going on. You can't see my head, huh? I don't think you can see my head. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Here it is, finally, Top Shelf Aquatic Corals. I probably should explain what is going on. A couple months ago, Top Shelf Aquatic reached out to me asking if I may be interested in participating in a coral grow out competition. If you've been following this channel, you know I've done a lot of collaboration with TSA and they have always treated me right. Great group of people. I visited them in person a couple times and always a fantastic experience hanging out with them. So when they reached out to me asking if I want to do a grower competition, I didn't think too much about it. I just said, yes, let's do it. She is excited about something. As a more selfish side, I thought this would be awesome as well because as you know, the tank behind me had a mini SPS crash back in February when I went to Japan. I lost almost all of my SPS. Thankfully, as you can see right now, they are growing back with a vengeance, and if I step back a little bit, my tank is starting to get full again, but I do have that bald spot where I lost a bunch of my acros right here, so I definitely want to replant something there. So when TSA reached out and asked if I wanted to do this SPS grow out competition, I'm like, perfect. For those of you who are a little bit more active on social media, for example, Reef to Reef, you'll see that TSA actually ran a poll to get the six participants from the reefing community. And I'm really happy to report that our good friend Joe or Tusi actually won the poll. So he will be participating in this competition as well. 2 weeks prior to TSA announcing this competition on Reef to Reef, we actually got a chance to visit Tusi's reef and it was absolutely breathtaking. And in my opinion, if anybody can grow SPS, it's Joe, Tusi's reef. He grows some amazing SPS colonies at his place. And if you've not seen that video yet, I'll link it right here. So back to the story of this competition at hand. When TSA initially reached out, I didn't think too much of it. They just said that, oh, we'll find a couple of content creators and we'll put together this little grow up contest, no big deal. But somehow this thing got ballooned. I guess Reef Builders got involved and then they upped the price to a whole new system for the winner, so the price is there, and from there they started running polls on Reef to Reef to get the 6 participant from the reefing community, and it just got big. I did not expect this. Starting out, I just thought it would be a fun little competition. I'll get some free awesome corals to kind of repopulate my tank, but hey, now we are actually in a full-blown competition, so I gotta take it a little bit more seriously. Normally, I will open up the corals and drop them right into the tank with no tip and no dripping to acclimate. I'll just temperature acclimate them and then just drop them in. Pop and drop, right? That's what it's called. Because we want to take this competition a little bit more seriously, what I actually do is this. I am actually going to float the frags first, temperature equalize, and then I'll put them in the container and then we'll actually drip acclimate them so that it's not as much of a shark going to this system. Excuse me. Oi, oi, oi. Hi from Davis. Hello, Davis. Looks like we got some cool packs here. I actually don't know what kind of SPS frags would have the most success. It probably wouldn't be the largest one simply because we want to see how much it grows, so it doesn't really matter where we start off. But I would probably prefer one with a more solid base, more encrusting. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, it's kind of packed similar to how normally TSA ship out corals, except actually no, I take that back. Normally TSA have stickers of like the coral name and then also the preferred light and then flow. And here I see that we don't have that information at all. So I guess they're pretty confident. What is this? Almost look blue. Oh, that is cool. Davis, thank you. You got more. Finally, this is my special request. This is not part of the grow out contest. This is the TNT Anacropora because I lost the one that I got from them. So I requested an additional one. I wanted to buy it from them, just tag on the shipment, but Ernesto was like, oh, no, we'll just throw one in. So much appreciated for this TNT Anacropora. I am in love with Anacropora. I'll talk a little bit more about them later, but today it's all about the grow out contest. Wait, where's the ruler? I think we're supposed to get a ruler, right? All right, Davis, maybe you should not have put your name on the box because now I know who forgot the ruler. But you know what? The TNT Anacropora as well as this. Yeah, that is the blue hypnea. That's it. That's a blue macroalgae. You forgot the ruler, but then you more than made up for it with the TNT Anacropora as well as the blue macroalgae. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. These looks good. I was curious. So I'm just shining some blue lights on it. Look at that color. Personally, I'm really excited about these splice. This is the, oh, this is nice. This is the raspberry splice. I've never heard of this one before, but it's a really clear distinction between the two splices. And here's the Fruity Splice. This is the one I am really looking forward to. This is one of the main reason. This is one of the main reason I joined this contest. They're like, yeah, there'll be at least one high-end coral. It's like, at least one. I hope it's the Fruity Splice. Turns out it is. Because I saw what it looks like in person, and they did not, dude, they did not go cheap. They gave a big chunk with like half and half, 50% orange, 50% green. Dude, this looks amazing. This is one of the reasons, again, that I joined the contest, because I was hoping that they'll send a Fruity Splice when they said that they're gonna send out some high-end SPS coral, or at least one high-end SPS. Everything else is kind of like bonus. So for Loko, interesting. And finally, we have the Blue Hypnea, which does nothing under blue light, but under white light, it absolutely looks fantastic. Not many blue macros out there, right? Okay, we really need to get you a hair clip. But this one, we'll bring upstairs to the computer room. Are you okay? Don't tell me you ate peanuts. No? You okay?
Many unbearable hours later.
Oh, and here we are. Here are the frags from the TSA Grow Out contest, minus this one. Taking a closer look to the frags, I absolutely will not remember the name, but I'll try. That is the famous Fruity Splice. You see the green and the hot pink, or the purple. To the right, I think it's for Loko. To the right of that, I believe is the Harvey Wallbanger. And then to the right of that is Long Island. I may have gotten those two flipped, but I think that was right. Over here is Orangsicle, and then last but not least, we have the Raspberry Splice, which surprisingly is actually even more colorful than the Fruity Splice. I thought Fruity Splice is kind of like the cream of the crop, but dude, we may have a new winner in terms of spliced coral. This all looks really nice. And keep in mind, these just came out of shipment. They went through stress, so they probably lost some color, and it already looks like this, which is absolutely fantastic. And I think later on, when my tank goes into its blue phase, I'll try to come down and take another video. Because if you know, most of the SPS that enter my tank, they probably gonna fade or turn brown first for a while. Unfortunately, this grow out contest is only 6 months. I think a grow out contest for SPS should maybe for a year or so, but I understand that 6 months is fine. 6 months is fine. We do what we can. I think like maybe some of the SPS master can really shrink up the acclimation stress. I want to film this right now because I know SPS coming to my tank, they can dull out, maybe even brown out. It's gonna take them at least a month or two to really settle in, and then another 2 or 3 months to really encrust before they start shooting out. So that's what I'm thinking with these guys, and that's why my strategy is to just not touch them. Put them here, and then give them a week or so to acclimate, and then slowly move up a little bit. I may not even move it up because the light, the power reading for the light is not really that different by just simply moving up. I need to move them towards the middle of the tank, which I'm not ready to do because it'll be more difficult to take measurements of how much have grown. So I may just leave them up here under the set 120 par and see how they do. They may dull out, they may brown out. Actually, they may brown out a little bit as they take on more symbiotic algae for the lower lights. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, before I do anything, I'm gonna let them sit and not disturb them for at least a week as they acclimate to the not as ideal tank environment compared to TSA's. And I have arranged these frags in alphabetical order because I know I'm going to forget what they are. And I've also used the PNW frag rack versus my regular transparent one. I like the look of the transparent frag rack a little bit more simply because it's not as intrusive as you can see. However, don't you pick at anything. No. But as you can see, if fish comes in and try to pick at the frags or the frag plugs, the PNW has the frag locking silicone, so they don't come out as easily. So I feel like with the contest going on, with the price of these frags, I want to make sure they don't get knocked over and into the mushrooms. And that's also one reason I have them here versus over there, because if they get knocked over, they're going to fall into the Monty cap. Versus here, they have a fighting chance. They may not land in a mushroom, they may just land on sand. Fingers crossed that nothing get knocked over. All right, as promised, here is the tank under blue light. Let's take a closer look to see what the frags looks like. Oh my lords. That's why people use blue light, huh? First impression. Let me see. First impression. The raspberry splice. It has like a highlighted green. That's super bright. And in the back, we do have the Fruity Pebble Splice. Also really beautiful. I think, personally, I kind of prefer the Fruity Pebble Splice. Simply because the hot pink also glows under the blue light versus the raspberry. The purple or the pink is a little bit more subtle. So it's not as balanced as the Fruity Splice. That is probably still my favorites. The full Loko, man. The full Loko, that's the one in the middle right now. Also glows quite well under the blue lights. And of course, all the other corals are all beauty in their own, but those really stood out. All right, I guess we're gonna give them some time to settle in the tank and see how the color develops. Because again, we have shipping stress to contend with, and I think the color probably even dulled out a little bit, even though they all look gorgeous right now. And for comparison, let me just step back. And that's how the rest of the tank looks in the Blue Actinic light. I don't do this light too often. Well, I don't film in this light too often simply because usually around this time I'm either working or I'm out on weekends with the family. So I just kind of snuck down here during the blue period to take a look at how these look. Oh, gorgeous.
3 weeks later.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been close to a month since I've added these frags to the 145-gallon tank. I'm happy to report that they have all survived. My biggest fear is that a day in or 2 days in, they all just bleach out and that's all she wrote. One thing I do notice is that my frags do not have as much polyp extension compared to some of the other contestants. And that's probably due to not as much flow or not as intense light or just bad parameters in general compared to where they came from. In the coming 2 or 3 weeks, I hope to slowly move the frag rack up and a little bit more toward the center so it gets a little bit more of a direct flow and also higher light, and we'll see how it behaves. But I just want to do a quick snapshot so you guys see where the frag is at this moment in time. As always, huge thanks to Top Shelf Aquatics for the trust to include me into this fun little grow out contest. I'm really looking forward to how the other contestants are doing. I feel like TSA Reef, Joe is going to win the whole thing. He is a SPS master. As I mentioned, I visited his tank and he knows what he's doing when it comes to SPS. So my favorite is probably TSA, even though all the other contestants are fantastic. Now, the other thing that I want to show you guys before we sign off is these 2 corals right here. Actually, I'm not sure which video I'm going to release first, but I am having a resurgence of Euphyllia eating flatworm issue with the gold torch. You see that fragged up the gold torch colony. That's when the flatworm crawled out. I was like, oh no, I started dipping everything again. But this is the opportunity that I got to pull out some of these hammer that set all the way in the back. These 2 in particular came from ACI Aquaculture, Chris Mackley. I ordered them through Reef Aquatics. This one is the first of the Royal line that I ordered. In fact, I don't think they even have the Royal line ideas back then. They were just called the Prince of Darkness. It was a black coral that really intrigued me, especially when Chris was doing the live stream. I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. I'll buy a black coral. If I may be honest, I thought that it looks okay. Maybe it's due to the different lighting that I have. I'm running Radions and the blade, different spectrums. I do notice that under bluer spectrum, it does have more the black coral coloration, but in a more white setting, it's a little bit more purplish with a green tint in the tentacles. It is a cool coral because I do like the white edging on each of the tentacles. I do think it's cool. However, it is not black, but again, I feel like it has to do with the lighting of my system. Now, with that said, ACI later did release some additional corals to the what they call the Royal line now, and this is one of them. This is the King Hammer. They have the King, the Queen, the Prince, and the Princess. My Reef Sensei Telegram has the Princess version. This is the King. I also ordered this through Reef Aquatics, and this one I really like. Actually, you know what? I will see if I can come down here again when the light is blue so we can see both of these corals under blue light. This is a little bit on the more white spectrum. Not really white. It's kind of like a Windex color feel. I hate that word Windex color blue, but it is what it is. Okay, here is the tank under Heavy Actinic Blue. Let's take a look at the hammer first. Oh, look at the King Hammer. Dude, this looks nice. I really like it. This is a beautiful coral. Next to it we have the Prince of Darkness. It is definitely a lot more black. if you look under heavy blue. So I see where that's coming from. And I think like as the coral get a little bit bigger and more mature, the white rim around each of these tentacles is going to be more apparent, and that's going to look a lot nicer as time goes on. But between these two, king hammer, absolutely. In my hand, I have the official ruler from Top Shelf Aquatic for some measurements. This is going to be kind of like a rough, pretty rough actually, because I'm doing it by myself. But I'm placing the beginning of the ruler to the top of the frag plug. Looks like the Fruity Splice is right at 1 inch. For Loko is 1 notch above the ½ inch mark, so 0.6. I forget what this one's called already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.4 inch. This one I believe is the Long Island. This one is also right at a 1 inch mark. Right here we have the Orangsicle, 1 notch above 1 inch, so 1.1. Finally we have the Raspberry Splice, right at 1 inch from my angle. Alright, so it's pretty rough to look at from where I'm at. But next I'm gonna actually take photos, actual still photos, send them over to TSA for the actual official record. TSA Coral Grow Out Smackdown. We have to go.